Welcome to Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt of the Marquardt Law Firm at marquardtlawfirm.com.
Gospel singer from Nigeria, and I was thinking more just like Africa, how things are in Africa, named Ty Bello. And what happened with her is she had moved into, I think she's here in America, she moved out of Nigeria, but a lot of her family was killed in a church raid. And she was actually holding like a benefit concert for them. But it was really sad to hear that, my 2-year-old daughter is a big fan of this gospel singer. And, a lot of her family was killed in a church raid. And to think about, we don't really deal with that type of persecution in the United States. We're blessed in that way. But I kind of wanted to see, how is that? Are there tensions there? Does that reach South Africa? Or have you seen anything like that? Or?
Well, to answer your question, in South Africa, we have we call ourselves the Rainbow Nation, and that goes for ethnic groups and as well as religious beliefs. There's mosques. Mm-hmm. You can almost at any point in any town hear the mosque going off at midday when they start praying. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of Dutch Reformed churches for the Afrikaans people. There's a lot of Catholic churches for the English-speaking Afrikaner South Africans. There is a lot of Islamic people, but I worked my whole high school for an Islamic family. They taught me how to repair cell phones, and it was pocket money. Mm-hmm. I ate with them. Beautiful multicultural situation in South Africa. How it hit us is a few years ago. One of my best friends, I was a commercial diver with him. The Islamic extremists is up in the northern part of Africa. Now that's very far from us, but it's coming down and down and down. So Sub-Saharan is more Christian-based faiths, and north of the Sahara is Islam. Mm-hmm. A lot of Muslims. And that is spilling over. My friend Adrian Nell was killed by Islamic militants in Palma in Mozambique. In a raid where they took over the city. They wanted to take over the Total plant that was there. So it's on our borders. We as South Africans, I hope as a nation, we fight to keep it out because we are peaceful in our religion. Mm-hmm. I was very sad to hear that the first satanic church opened in Cape Town. The first satanic church in the world opened in Cape Town under our noses. That was very disturbing for me. We are a very godly nation. Yeah. Most of us, black, white, Indian, get religious upbringing. God is part of our upbringing. Mm-hmm. But yeah, do we fear religious persecution? Not at the moment, but it's definitely on our borders. And I think religion in the north is used as a weapon. And we can see that, you have a few examples, and you are correct when you say the United States is its own little world. But it's definitely something that is coming to our doorstep in South Africa.
Oh, wow. So is that any way related to what's happening to farmers?
So I think no. Look, the farmers are mostly godly people. Sadly, most of these farms attacks happens when they come back from church on a Sunday. The stories that they got the same thread. Came back from church, got attacked as they came into the house. And there's many different ones. That's just a common thread that you hear. I don't think they are persecuted for being religious. No, because like I say, most people, black and white, have a religious background and a religious foundation. Hard to think that somebody that can do something so brutal and to kill people and drill through them and torture them and rape them and kill them in such a brutal way. And I think that is what makes it a little bit different. Crime happens to everybody. There's a lot of people being murdered, but nobody is being murdered like these people.
Really?
I mean, there's that British lady that made the documentary. There's quite a few documentaries. You can go and see if you can stomach it, but you can never unsee this. Remember that one thing. If you've seen this, you can never unsee it. And it happened to people close to me. It was never the reason why I left. Because while you are there, you pray and you are strong and you are resilient, and this is your place. Nobody's going to unseat you. You don't know what it is like, what it is like to sleep a full night without hearing the dogs bark and the leaves going, and then getting up and knowing, oh, there's somebody in the yard. You don't know that.
Wow.
That's part of your genetics. It's your job as a man to go and lock the doors, close the windows, everything's got burglar bars, make sure the electric fence is up and running and gates are closed and locked. That's part of it. You don't know what is different if you are used to that. So we got robbed twice in the year before we came here while we were in the house. But that still, again, was not the reason why I left. I was willing to face all of that. I felt strong in faith. I feel a lot stronger in faith now, when I was baptized in a little bit of fire in the United States. Sometimes, humans like to learn through trauma, and trauma brings you closer to our Maker. But to get back to your question, I do not think religion is got anything to do with farmers being murdered or any type of a violent criminal behavior in South Africa. I think it's a lack of religion in some parts, people that forgot and people who don't belong. So in that instance, yes, a lack of religion, maybe a loss of faith, but definitely not persecution because of your faith.
Is it about apartheid? Is it about racism?
I think that's a lot to do with the hate. Like, why wouldn't you just rob somebody and kill them? Why would you torture them for hours and hours and rape the woman in front of the children and the father and torture them for hours? Why would you do that if there is no anger involved? If you just wanted to rob and go, why would you do this?
Right.
This is hate-based. This is to do with political, so there we don't need the media to do the brainwashing. There the politicians brainwash the people and keep them angry, and they use this land thing. Land. Yes, there's a lot of land, but if they didn't loot the coffers, they could do the redistribution process instead of doing land redistribution without compensation. This bill got passed just a few months back, and I think that is unfair. Once again, those people, that is their livelihood, that's what they know. Whether or not some of them bought it and have the things what they paid for it, or who, and it worked well until the land bank went bankrupt. It worked well. Willing buyer, willing seller worked well. I know a lot of people who sold their farms, and now they are being murdered for their farms because the government can't buy it. The ones that they did buy, government officials stole and run them to the ground. Many of these farms ends up in government officials' hands instead of the family who claimed it. Because if your family are from there and there's graves there, you want to come back to your land. The government gets involved, they give the farmer an offer, the offer gets accepted or negotiated, there's a value achieved, and the government buys it, the farmer goes, the family moves in. That's not the case in most of the cases. It gets stolen. And it's infighting that makes it not a success. It's a sad situation.
Tragic. Yeah.
Lots of these farms is being bought up. You can go look at it, the famous tea farm in Tanin. They've tried to revive it, the export farm. Year after year, it needs to be bailed out because the people move in, but they don't have the knowledge. They don't get help from the government to farm this. You were the farmer.
That's a really complicated situation. I mean, we need another hour.
Yes, definitely.
But the last question I have to ask you is, because Marquardt Law Firm sponsors the show, and it's all about legacy.
Yes.
So what would you say
now,
legacy
it's time for the Talk Law Radio Legacy Spotlight. What's your legacy?
Well, legacy
Sponsored by
normally
Marquardt Law Firm.
something that in my head, it's the legacy that you leave. It's what you want to be remembered for. It is seeds that you sow. I hope that I can sow enough seeds in the people and the people that is in contact with me, my family, my friends. Bring about impeccable integrity. Check yourself. Check yourself against God. Check yourself against Jesus. Meet that guy. Meet him. He's the best friend you will ever have. I want the legacy to be that we can all do this. We can be together. We don't have to be down each other's throats. We don't have to be sheep for the sheep herder.
Are
Yeah.
these lessons you teach your kids?
I try to. My kids are too clever. They don't learn from me. Everything I tell them is, I know, Dad. I know, Dad.
Right.
No, but I do. I do. Yes. Mom mostly. I'm the backup singer. Mom also teaches me integrity.
She has a strong faith as well.
Exceptionally strong faith.
Awesome.
She is
Awesome.
our anchor in faith. Yes.
Great. Well, this show is part of your legacy now, because
I'm
the
grateful.
kids will be able to listen to this and hear how passionate their dad was about making things right in the world. I think that's really
Yeah.
awesome.
Thank you.
Well, we have to end the show. Joseph, thank you for joining us. I
course.
hope that you learned something.
I did, yeah. A lot.
And Johan, say your last name again.
Coetzee.
Coetzee. And this is Talk Law Radio. We'll talk to you later.
This has been Talk Law Radio with attorney Todd Marquardt, brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm. You can learn more at marquardtlawfirm.com. And be sure to listen to the full Talk Law Radio show Saturday mornings at 11 on 9:30 a.m. The Answer.
Most families don't realize they have hidden legal blind spots until it's too late. Wills, trusts, Medicaid planning, even protecting a business. These are the kinds of issues attorney Todd Marquardt helps uncover before they become problems. Todd is the host of Talk Law Radio, where each week he guides listeners through the legal challenges families, veterans, and business owners face, while showing them the practical steps to protect what matters most. Catch Talk Law Radio, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, 6:30 a.m. The Word, and now in Houston on AM 1070 and 103.3 FM The Answer, or anytime on YouTube. Planning isn't just about documents. It's about peace of mind, security for loved ones, and building a legacy that lasts. Don't wait for a crisis. Do it before you die.